We continue to discuss the tale of different weather across India. Let me go back to my guests. Anand, let me come to you first. As far as the driving factors that we're seeing in the northern side of the country, there's clearly no respite. If you could help us better understand why that is.
No, see, actually, in winter season, especially in over northwest India, the weather is influenced by the western disturbances. And this time being El Nino year, which continued from last year and it will continue till April, the frequency and intensity was less as compared to the normal. And we didn't have the snowfall and rainfall events. But now we are lucky that we have a current western disturbance which is influencing weather over Jammu and Kashmir. And then there are two more western disturbances back to back from tomorrow onwards till 3rd of February. And we expect widespread rain snow over high reaches of Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and even on 30th, 31st, we can also expect isolated heavy snowfall over J&K and Himachal Pradesh. And then Uttarakhand will also receive rain, snow. Even plain area, Punjab, Haryana, and Western UP can also see rainfall events. So this first thing is a welcome spell after a very, very long period. And the fog, which was playing a spoil sport, that also we are going to get respite in the next 1 or 2 days over the northwest plains. And air quality is likely to improve. And it will be a welcome sign for the farmers because they were eagerly waiting for, their moisture in the soils were depleting, and this rain will definitely help these farmers.
All right, Anand, as you make those opening remarks, potentially saying that there are going to be better days ahead, but let me go across to Harjeet. Harjeet, of course, we're seeing different tales. In fact, we'll play those visuals out as well, because we did see the dry spell in Jammu and Kashmir. Of course, climate change is a pressing matter.
Well, absolutely, Niwedhana, and thank you for having and sharing panel with Mr. Sharma. There have been reports, particularly the latest IPCC, so Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report, assessment cycle 6, which clearly talked about how impacts are increasing around the world, but particularly in the mountainous regions, which are seeing high temperatures, and particularly the erratic weather pattern that we have seen also in case of Kashmir. There's also glacial changes that we are seeing, and also how water resources and hydrological changes that we have been witnessing over the last few years. And what climate change is also doing is causing biodiversity loss. And we need to understand that we are already living in a world which is more than 1 degree warmer. And studies show that the temperature is rising faster in the mountainous regions than the global average. And particularly in case of Kashmir, the data was 1.2 degree of warming, and that was a couple of years ago. So climate change has a direct impact on many of these impacts that we are seeing, and also glacial retreat. And we have seen from the studies that glaciers in Kashmir are retreating at an alarming rate, losing an estimated 27% of their area since 1960s. So, of course, there are a combination of factors, as Mr. Sharma also said, but climate change is definitely having an impact on Kashmir and other mountainous regions far more dramatically than even the global average.
Absolutely. And in fact, we'll talk about the larger implications of the same, Harjeet. But Anand, coming back to you, driving factors that we saw the dry spell for so long, if you could help our viewers better understand that.
See, it's right. It was a very, very long dry spell, but it is not something which has never happened in the past. Also, we have observed these kind of long dry spells when Western disturbance either are their frequency is less or they are passive. That means they just give cloudiness and move over, and they don't give rains. And we call that a part of natural climate variability. But yes, there is global warming and there are some indications of climate change as well as, but then it's a major factor still is the climate variability. And no 2 years are exactly the same. And we do get this kind of dry spells. Only thing is that we have to be prepared for these kind of things, especially like farmers. We have to have climate smart agriculture. We should have the drought resistant varieties, and we should have our cropping patterns according to the agroclimate. But yes, as far as tourism is concerned, naturally, if there are below normal rain and snowfall events, then tourism gets affected. And we all know, especially in the winter season now, Jammu Kashmir, Himachal, and Uttarakhand, tourists flock to these places once the snow is there, or there is likely report that snowfall is going to be there. Like now, next 2 3 days, we expect the snowfall to happen. You just see all the hotels are going to be booked, and taxi drivers, restaurants, everybody will get business. But yes, when there is a long dry spell, and it does happen many times, and then everything gets affected. Even your whatever moisture, I mean, snowfall recharges your groundwater. That doesn't happen. And it's also well known that if there's early snowfall events in December, and after that the snowfall events continue, then the ice get packed, and it lasts for a longer duration. But if the snowfall event is delayed, then it falls and it melts also very fast. So there doesn't stick there for a long time. And moreover, when there is no rain or snowfall event and temperatures are higher, that time they are chilling hours which are required for apple and related crops. They also get affected. So it has wide ramifications. Dry spell also affects your air quality. Naturally, your rain is a scavenger, snow is a scavenger. So whatever pollutants we pump into the atmosphere, they are cleaned by the precipitation. So naturally, a long dry spell also is, in a way, not able to clean the atmosphere, and air quality also deteriorates, that which we have seen over the Delhi, NCR, and the surrounding plain areas.
Us better understand why that would be. Mr. Harjeet, what I want to draw your perspective also is with the fact that North India saw the driest August in a century last year. But the reason why I ask you that is because this has happened even when we saw Uttarakhand and Himachal, witnessing landslides due to the heavy rains, which is, of course, in the larger implications of what we're seeing across the globe.
Yes, Niwedhana, we need to understand when we talk about global warming, and warming is an input to the climate system. And what we see these impacts, as Mr. Sharma also said, how the variability has been there, but has increased because of rising temperature. And temperature is a key aspect to keep our weather system stable, and that stability has been affected. So in some parts, we will see much more rain, and in some parts, we are going to see far less rains. And it's this variability that really affects us, and that's what we are witnessing around the world, and particularly in our country, which has all possible geoclimatic zones. So in one part of the country, you see more rains and areas getting far more wetter, whereas other parts are getting much more drier. And this erratic weather pattern also affects agriculture, tourism, and many other aspects of life, as we just discussed.
Right. Appreciate you as well as Mr. Anand for joining us on the show and helping us better understand the factors and also potentially what one can see over the next couple of days. One can only hope that sunny, better days are ahead for especially the ones who live in the National Capital Region. Thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast.